Alright, so we are live. Sorry, I'm playing around with settings and stuff. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. There we go. How to the wild world of the YouTube at 2:33. Actually, it's almost 3 a.m. Holy crap. Yes, I am live because I can't sleep. And it sucks. But that's okay. So, yeah, it's kind of one of these interesting things. And again, we're only just talking about it now. But there's a possibility of Stitch becoming something wild. Well, so okay. First up, obviously, tri-power intake and head setup. That's going to be freaking awesome under the hood with the long tube header. You know, that'll likely happen sometime during the winter here. I just don't know exactly when. We'll kind of see. But then, same person who's going to be modifying that long tube header to put on Stitch is also the same dude that wants to play with carbon fiber with my car. So, you know, Stitch might get carbon fiber goodness. Who knows? We might even do some carbon fiber on the truck. That'd be really funny if we did. I don't anticipate that, but, like, I had this stupid idea in my head. It's like, huh, how cool would it be to have, like, a carbon fiber box on the truck? You know, leave the front end looking the way it is, just all shitty, and then all of a sudden, carbon fiber box. Like, again, not happening, but it'd be really freaking funny if we did that. You know, and it's just something kind of fun that way of these potential modifications to be done. Now, something though earlier with the truck, like I, you know, went for a scrap run, scrapped the block, scrapped the engine parts that I had, at least not all of them, but the bulk of them, scrapped the stock exhaust manifold, and that was it. Like, I mean, there was other stuff too, like a distributor and other things. Only ended up getting $24 total for everything. So like that motor basically scrapped for $20. That also includes a couple of doors though, mind you, so even less. just kind of sad. Pretty sad. But anyways, yeah, and it's actually amazing of like how lightweight that block was. To be honest, because even like in the back of the truck, I was wondering like, oh, am I gonna be able to like lift this thing out? Like, yeah, actually, it was pretty easy, and I was able to like yeet it. So that's all done now. It's gone. You know, and I'm like the cam is gone. Even though people said, oh, you should keep that to regrind the cam, blah blah blah. It's like I'd much rather just get a brand new cam at that point. I can actually get camshafts for this thing, and I don't need that sitting around, as an example. So, basically, all that I kept out of that motor was the connecting rods and the head. That's it. I technically still have the original valve cover, but, you know. And I have that aftermarket valve cover that I'm going to try and sell as well. I'm going to try to sell both, because I don't really need that valve cover. I've got my finned aluminum one, so I don't really need to keep the shit around. And so yeah, I'm gonna try and list that stuff in the next couple of days. Like I need to try and find like a box though to get shipping quotes on the valve cover, but finding a box has been a little difficult. I've actually been trying, and so far no luck. I also want to sell some other parts and stuff like that, just so that I can have some money. You know, right now, because like right now everything is tight, very tight for stuff. And what's funny though in the truck is, okay, so after everything was all said and done, I deposit the check in the bank from, you know, the junkyard, and I just unfortunately I couldn't do the whole like deposit it via mobile. It just wasn't working for some reason, so it's fine. I actually just went into Olds and deposited it right there. Which is a good thing that I did that, because if I didn't do that, my truck would have ran out of fuel somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Because she actually ran out of fuel, fun fact. So, and I was able to get her restarted again fairly simply. Like, she likes to fight you pretty good when she runs out of fuel. But, you know, wasn't too bad. I had the wherewithal to pour gas straight down the carburetor. And now, something that sucks, though, is, like, I was underneath the hood, and I'm noticing the frickin' wing nut went missing for the air cleaner. So the air cleaner's gonna sit like this in the engine bay, which is fun. I'm honestly, like, just wanting to just say screw it. And like, once I actually get the whole tri-power head set up on Stitch, I am genuinely thinking that the 2-barrel and everything from Stitch will go onto the truck, and then I can run that dual snorkel air cleaner on the truck. It's gonna be really funny because it's gonna say 5-liter high output when not quite. It's 4.9. 300 inline 6, and it will probably help it out, actually. So, because I want to run like 3 Carter YFAs on the car. I don't know how well it's going to work, but we'll see, I guess. Like, oddly enough, if it doesn't work out so well, and if I can't get the carb set up properly, well, I can kind of leave the carburetors actually, like bolted on, but they don't necessarily have to be functional. I just need the middle one functional, to be fair. So, I don't know. We'll kind of see how stuff goes. I might have to find, smaller carburetors. Who knows? It might keep up with, the Carter YFAs. I don't really know. I just don't know. And somebody said HR. I think that's supposed to say hi. But I think that's supposed to say hi. How's it going? Yeah, so it's gonna be very interesting though with that sort of stuff like I was mentioning. And then actually today, so my neighbor Lance, like he was texting back and forth with my dad, and then Lance wants to feel how my dad's truck Shaniqua Colorado, that's what we called it, what it's doing with the whole shake and stuff like that, and I could show it to him very easily. All I gotta do is go down a hill and hit the brakes, and it's bad. It's not so bad just stopping on a straight surface, but like downhill, whoo, fuck. So, he's thinking that it's not the calipers itself, because like he checked the sliders and like he realized that no, these seems fine and whatever else. So, he's thinking that it's brake line related, which is possible. It's definitely possible. But he wants to confirm it himself, which that's fine. Like, he's a licensed mechanic, I'm not. Because, like I said, I know it's one of the two. It's either brake line or caliper. And even I told my dad, like, it's kind of a 50-50 shot of which one it is. If it's brake line, that's a lot cheaper. If it's brake caliper, it can be a little pricier. Now, you can rebuild calipers, but it's not the easiest thing to do. They're actually kind of a pain in the ass from what I've heard. So, as a result, we might not be doing that. I don't know. I would just much rather just have my dad replace them instead, and I'll install them. I don't mind. But yeah, so I don't know. We'll kind of see how everything works out. But and then yeah, like I'm trying to think of videos that I could actually film. And I'm kind of struggling with that, with the vehicles. Now, like, something that I'd like to potentially do, is... I'd have to get my buddy Lance to help me out with this. Which, again, I trust him driving my vehicles, it's fine. I would like to be able to have Stitch... Which, again, Stitch isn't even here right now, technically. Stitch is actually up north near Anzac, because my dad had to borrow my car. Sad. Because I wasn't having him leave with the brakes doing what they were doing. that way and just couldn't get it fixed in time, which is okay. You know, it's not the end of the world. Ooh. What are you doing awake? Like, I shouldn't be awake. Yet, Ryan, you're awake? What are you doing here? I'll go then. I gotta keep behind my head, though. There you go. You can see his head. You know, I am, yeah, today was a good day overall. Kind of funny day, though, because like I said, I ran out of gas in the truck. And so I had jerry cans with me, and I called my dad, just like, hey, I ran out of gas, and I don't really have the money, because I was hoping that the scrap was worth more than I thought it was. Turns out, yeah, no, I got $24 in scrap. I'm like, shit, that is not... I don't have enough to actually put gas in the jerry can. Shit. So then I asked my dad, and then he gave me a bit of money. So, which, you know, it's fine. Like, I'm technically I should be getting a YouTube payment in the next few days here, with any luck. So, fingers crossed on that. But, yeah. It's not gonna last very long, though. Never does. And then, we'll kind of see, you know, with the truck and everything, and also, like, how much I want to do with the truck. Because there's a side of me that doesn't really want to do all the work that the truck needs to the truck. And just saying, screw it. And getting rid of it. But at the same time, it's like, I really like the truck, though. But she needs so much work. So... And then he just randomly says, oh, hi there again. Doesn't answer any of the stuff that I asked him. And just says, oh, hi there. Again. Okay. Oh! I didn't realize you worked somewhat of a night shift. Well, see, the difference is, though, like, your Probe GT needed, like, a full-on engine rebuild, right? Which, now granted, I'm actually more willing to do shit like that now, comparatively to before. But, you know, no shit, it's a green screen. You duh. Where, like, my truck, it's rust repair. You know, and, like, do I really want to tackle all that rust repair? Now, I could repair a lot of the rust for not a lot of money, to be fair. Like, bed sides, I won't even give a shit about. Fix the bed floor. You know, fix the cab corners. I could, like, pound out a piece of metal and make that work. Weld in my new floors. Make my own rockers, potentially. And then, patch in for the supports for the hood. You know. They're there. And yes, I am. I am Canadian. Well, I'm not actually Canadian. I'm Canadian. Because Canadian would imply that I am French Canadian, which technically I am, but I'm not from Quebec. So there's that. Yeah. And, you know, so I don't know. We'll kind of see how that goes. Like, it would kind of suck not to have my truck, but it's not the end of the world. You know, I could end up getting another truck at some point. See, the thing is, I didn't say it in a weird way, though. Like, I just said about. Like, I didn't say a boot. The words winders be frosted over. Well, that sounds joyous. Frost is always fun. And, like, I don't know what would motivate me with the truck that much. Like, now, don't get me wrong, I am thinking, though, because, okay, a buddy of mine, I've kind of teased him for a while, and, like I said, I might be getting a T56 manual. Now, that might entice me to actually put that in the truck. Because it is set up for a small block Ford, which is the same as a 300, so that's absolutely fine. And then what's cool is, you know, I would have this ridiculously tough transmission in the truck. Like, that T56 is probably tougher than the NP435. It's also kind of a nicer transmission, because the NP435 is fine, but I think the synchros might be going out in it, because it's really difficult to get it into second and third at times. You know? And have fun there, Ryan. Have fun. Also, it's nice, because my friend JoJo, she actually said, or, like, gave me confirmation that I could do a review of her Mach 1. Which her Mach 1 is a Mach 2, if you want to get technical. So, at least that's in the Mustang 2 community, that's what they're called, but that's not actually what they are. They're a Mach 1. But people call them Mach 2. It's kind of fun. Now, that is very interesting. You're a mechanic by trade, but you have zero interest in vehicles. Like, I understand not wanting to work on your own vehicles. I get that, but, like, you don't like vehicles at all? Or is that just a, just don't like working on your own vehicles? Because it makes sense. If you're working on vehicles all day, and then you go home to your own projects, you probably don't want to work on those. And I understand that wholeheartedly. Like, I am opposite, though. I don't like really working on other people's vehicles. Like, but I love working on my own stuff. So we'll see. And hey, you finally ordered the PCV hose you needed? Cool. That's awesome. My shirt might finally come in. That I ordered for myself, for, like, from my own merch, which is cool. So, like, I ordered it 2 weeks ago. Been waiting for an email for a couple of days. Finally got an email from Teespring to say, hey, sorry, we've had an issue with our distributors, and as a result, it hasn't happened yet, but we promise you within the next 10 days you should have it. I'm like, okay, well, I'm waiting for it. You know? I most don't like them that much. That is very interesting. Like, and the fact that you do it for a living and don't give a shit about vehicles is wild. But, like, I mean, it's not the be-all, end-all, don't get me wrong. It's just weird. For sure. But as long as you're happy with your life, I guess. You know? Got the old Rallo valve, but the car right now is set up with a non-serviceable PCV hose and fitting. Joy. So I had to buy the right hose, etc. Fun! What fun! Yes, I love the technical part and turning wrenches, but vehicles just don't tickle your fancy? I mean, that's valid. And to be honest, that's probably the better way to live. Because if you get bit by the car bug, oh, it's gonna cost you a lot of money. So, you have all the advantages with none of the disadvantages. You know? And, like, you could just have a boring-ass car to get you to and from work, like a Camry or something like that, and be content with it. Fuck, that'd be nice to a certain degree. It would be. At the same time, though, I actually, like, love vehicles, but then, like, I'm in crippling debt all the time because of my vehicles, so yay! It's like super into computers or something, right? Like, I'd be curious. So, that is... Now, I'm actually curious, so what are you into, then? Like, you're a mechanic by trade, and you like working on cars, but you don't like actually, like, driving vehicles or the notion of that. So, okay. Then what are you into? Like, are you a gamer? Are you... Do you secretly like dolls? Are you a furry? Like, what you know? Inquiring minds need to know. Need to know. Yeah, I mean, Ryan, you're just into stuff that likes to go boom. You know? Which, now granted, actually, RX-8s are not that unreliable. They're actually pretty good. It's just they're very misunderstood. You know? You're an outdoorsman. Okay, fair enough. So you like being out in, like, nature and stuff like that. fair enough. Like, everybody has their little niche, whatever it is, whether it's, you know, cars, you know, gaming, computers, being outdoorsy, whatever. Like, I like being outdoorsy, and I like hiking to a certain degree, but then I'm also asthmatic, so then hiking kind of sucks. But it is fun. But it sucks. Um, but yeah, like, it was interesting, actually, because in a live stream the other night, this was like 2 nights ago, I was, like, on TikTok, I was talking with, this guy who I just hopped into his live, and he let me up, um, talking about his, like, rotaries and whatever else, and he was actually very surprised that I knew, like, what you have to do with an RX-8 to make it reliable. I'm like, yeah, that's any rotary, though. Like, have fun. Well, actually, let's see. Is there any frost on my windshield? Hey, look! There's a bunch of frost on my windshield right now. That'll be melted by tomorrow. It's all good. Now, hang on. You're offering me $7,000 for my truck? Because if that's a genuine offer, yeah, I would consider it. 100%. Like, if that's actually a genuine offer. And that's true. Like, with hiking, you know, I've done some hiking, not anything major. But the thing is, I don't like the climb of a hike. I like, you know, um, I like the speed of going downhill on the hike. Did I? Well, you weren't offering that kind of money for it. Like, you know, and here's the thing. And I think I told you of, like, what I'd accept for it, and that's over what I'd accept for it. So, yeah, like, I would get rid of the truck for that sort of price. Like, if this is legit, I would take $7 grand for my truck, genuinely. I would 100% take that. Like, I don't know in what world that I rejected it before, unless if it wasn't that high of an offer, but... Alright, where are you located? And when do you want to pick up your truck? Because, yeah. I mean, hell, for that price, I might even deliver it. That's fair. I mean, hey, I've heard that a Honda Element is a fantastic vehicle. Like, they're great. Okay, you're in New Mexico. Okay, I'm not delivering it down there because, well, there's a pesky border in the way without my passport. Like, gotta remember, I'm in Canada. So, there's that. How do you propose of actually grabbing this thing? You know, at $7 grand. And how am I going to be paid as well? Hey, there you go. Like I said, every Honda Element owner that I've talked to has loved them. Like I said, 7,000 like American. Like I said, I will take that in a heartbeat. But what I'm saying is though, how are you going to pay me? I'm not talking in currency. I'm talking how am I going to get the money? Like unless you're like flying up here or something like that, or sending a truck, you know, with cash. Because I'm not accepting a check. That's just insane. Or unless you do like money transfers or whatever, you know, like we can figure it out. If you genuinely want the truck for that price, I will gladly take it. 100%. And you know, and if you want, I can. Well, I will throw in the fender that I picked up by the junkyard for it. And somebody randomly said Abu Nasser. Okay, I don't know who that is, but okay. Because, yeah, I mean, fuck, having $7 grand American in my account would be pretty nice right now. What part of Canada? I'm in Alberta. Central Alberta, to be exact. Somewhat south, but central. Let's see here. Okay. So I was just checking something really quick on here, but it's all good. You like the SS? There's no SS in the photo in the background, but okay, cool. Hey, there you go. Nice. I love hockey. I watch a lot of hockey. I've only ever played like, floor hockey / ball hockey. Um, actually, oddly enough, I have a trophy. For best saves in our little league that we had. To be fair, it was through school. And it was fun. Like we did it about like once or twice a week. Sometimes it didn't go, but it was a lot of fun, and I wish I would have did it more. And who knows? Maybe it could have turned into something. But then again, my health ended up failing me after a while, and I probably wouldn't still be doing it. But you never know. Maybe because I played goalie. I love doing that. But yeah, like dupes, if you're genuinely serious about buying my truck, send me an email. My email is public on my Facebook or on my Facebook on here. Like you can find like in my about section you can find my email to get a hold of me, and we can go from there. Even I think in the description of the video my email should be there too. I would think. And goalie must be a nut? I mean, some people call me that. Here's the thing. Okay, so. Not that you're that much into vehicles. But, what you do know of people that are into vehicles, what do you know about them? Because, for the most part, that is like, hey, if it's a classic car, it's a classic American car, it has to have a V8 in it. And if you don't like, if you don't put a V8 in your car, that's just not a proper car and whatever else, right? It's a thing. I've dealt with that a lot with my Mustang because I begrudgingly keep the inline six in the car, and I'm building six, which is why like when that guy said $7,000, I'm like, hey, that would build my motor. that would pay for all the shit I want to do to the car. It'd be fun. It'd be fun. Although the smarter thing would be paying off my credit card, but who needs to be debt free? Well, that's interesting. Ugh, but yeah, so. Yeah, like, and another thing, I'm a weird person when it comes to vehicles. Like, I like the weirder vehicles, usually. Like, yes, I love the old, like, common, like, Mopars and GMs and whatever else like that, of course. But what really excites me, though, is stuff like my Mustang with the straight six. Or, my truck with a straight six. Having something like that my buddy's brother owns, like he has a Brubaker box, which is one of the weirdest cars to ever exist. They made like 10, and he has one. Stuff like that. It's just like that's so damn cool. One of my dream cars is a what the hell is that called? Like a Toyota Sandra, And those things are weird. They got like butterfly doors and, they're like full glass on the roof. They're pretty cool. Quirky, but cool. Like, and that's the thing, and I've always kind of been that way of liking the kind of weird and different shit. But, who knows? And that's the fun part, though. Is it's like, who knows what, like, the stuff that I will get next. What is my daily? You're looking at them. Take your pick. 76 F250 or the 81 Mustang. The only two vehicles I own. So, I drive both of them. But mostly the Mustang, to be fair, as a daily. Mostly. That might change, though. The truck might become more the daily. So. There we go. Put that. Maybe that'll change it up a bit. And you go, whoa, what? You're not used to people just dailying their classics? Because I do it. I have never actually, like, owned a vehicle and driven it very much that was newer. Like, there was that Lumina, there was, like, 50-50 ownership with, like, me and my dad, and it was supposed to be a flip. Didn't end up working that way. We actually lost money on that vehicle. But, like, that vehicle, I wanted to actually potentially use it as a daily driver. Because I thought, you know what? Park stitch for the winter, drive the Lumina, would have been fantastic. I actually like that thing. But, unfortunately, it just did not work out. And that's okay. And then, you know, I had, like, my Vandura. That thing would have been wicked to keep. And I wish I kept that thing, but I didn't. You know? Because I needed the money. And, like, the money did good things. But I wish I kept that thing. Because it was such a cool-ass van. And who knows? I will likely get another van. Like, here's the thing. I would replace my truck with a van. 100%. Especially if it's a conversion van. Actually, I think I'd only do a conversion van. As a trade. Keeping miles off their pride? Oh, pfft. That's not me. Here's the thing. These cars are meant to be driven, so drive them. I am actually somebody who puts a lot of miles on my vehicles. Like, my Mustang last summer, I put over 30,000 kilometers on that car just last summer. You know? My truck, since owning it, which granted, the truck, I don't necessarily, like, fully daily drive. It's more like, hey, when I want to bring it out, or if I need to use it as a truck, I use it. But that thing, frick, I've put, what, 5,000 miles on it since I've owned it? Ish? And that's miles, not kilometers, because that truck actually is in miles. So, and yeah, it's just kind of the fun thing, you know, with the stuff that I own and play with. What is my furthest road trip? I mean, you might be disappointed, but I, like, with Stitch, I don't typically do, like, very long road trips. But, like, in the summertime, so, okay, I help run a mobile dyno business. And we travel all across Alberta and shit like that to do it. And my Mustang is, like, my main vehicle that I use for that. So, it's based out of Devon, and, you know, I'll meet them at the car shows in, like, you know, Edmonton or Devon or any of the surrounding sort of areas that way. That is sad. Well, here's the thing. I don't want a minivan, though, Arden. Like, fuck a minivan. No. Like I said, I want my van back. Like, similar, you know, to my old van. And, because I can, let's see. If I do this, will it show up? Hang on. There we go. this was my old van. You know, like, I want something like that. And, wait, what? They have no French fries. How the hell do you run out of fries at a McDonald's? The fuck? That's wild. Getting 2 cheeseburgers as replacements? Nice. You know, that makes me want food, you talking about McDonald's, but our McDonald's is not open right now, you know? But, like, yeah, like, this van was friggin' awesome. I genuinely pulled this out of the bush. And if people don't believe me, well, here, I will show you how it looked when I first got this thing. Give me a second. So, it crops it weird. But genuinely, this was in the bush. Like, the tires were basically sunk all the way into the ground. There was trees all around it. It was literally in the bush. And I didn't have to do much to it, actually. I pulled this truck, or this van out of the bush, and I did basically just threw a set of tires on it and detailed it. That's all I did. Didn't even give it a service. And she was awesome. You haven't eaten since like 2 p.m. yesterday? Well, what the fuck, man? Yeah, go eat your food. You know, go eat your food. Like, I mean, today I had genuinely, I've had, my breakfast was A&W, but like, I had it at like 5:30. So there's that, and then I had a bowl of cereal, and then I had, which was Honey Nut Cheerios, and I had a chocolate chip muffin. That's all I've had to eat all day. Where's that van now? I do not know. I sold it. I sold this van years ago. Like, this was back in, like, 2021, 22. You have to look at my channel exactly to figure that out. Which, I can do that. Come to think of it. Because I've got the power of a second device. Let's see here. So, if I go content, and then go playlists, and then scroll all the way down to the Vandura videos, which was, I think I only made like 4 or 5 videos on it. Yeah, so, okay. The first upload I had on that van was April 4th, 2021. You know, the last upload I had of it was April 28th, 2021, and then I ended up selling that thing. And like I said, I really wish I didn't. I really wish I would have kept it. Actually, there we go. So if we take a look, if you guys can see that, it's, hang on. Let me get rid of the green screen background here. There we go. And you can see, that's how I found that van. Genuinely in the bush. Like, it was out of my buddy's property. So, and then I did that, like I said, I did the video on it when I discovered it was there, because, like, he told me, like, you know there's a van back here, right? It's like, what? Yeah, and then I saw it, I'm like, oh my god! That thing was awesome. Like, and it's one of my regrets of the vehicles I've sold. That's one of the ones I've regretted. You know, that, and also I wish I didn't get rid of my Vuck, which was a van body on a truck. Like, it had a dually box in the back. It was so cool. I wish I would have kept that thing and actually, like, fixed it. It needed a ton of work. But then it's really funny because I'm like, oh, this needs a ton of work, and I don't really want to work on it. And then what do? I get this truck that, like, needs a shit ton of work. That is fair. Wait, you didn't know about my Vuck? Hang on. Let me show off my Vuck that I had. So, you can see, there's a bit of it. There's a bit more of it. And there's the dually bed. You know? Also, it's funny. So this whole box, like, in there, it looks like that it'd be like a toolbox. It's not. Fun fact, that had a big-ass gas tank in it. Like, I wish I would have kept it. But it had a seized 460 in it. And I did not really want to swap out the motor on a van. Because it's a fucking nightmare to do, by the way. Like, you have to take the entire front clip off of it to get that motor out. It is such a dumb design for vans. But, if I had the thing now, I could tow the dyno trailer with it. I'd only get like 9 miles a gallon, though. But it would have been worth it. And oh yeah, like, this thing was sweet. It had a decent bit of rust in it, but it wasn't that bad, though, in the grand scheme of things. Like, sure, it needed a floor pan, and the roof was starting to rust out a bit. But beyond that, it was actually good. It's good. And, like, in this thing, I bought it at auction for only, like, $452, I think it was. You know? It was really cool. And I ended up getting towed out to my buddy's place, and then it sat there for a long time. I cleaned it up a bit, and then I ended up, like, selling it. I basically doubled my money, but it's just, like, I was really hoping to get this thing on the road. I just didn't have the money to do it. Good meeting you, too. It was nice chatting with you. Hope you have a fantastic sleep, and I'll chat at you later, hopefully. So, as long as you subscribe. You know, because like I said, even though you don't like cars, you might like my channel. You never know. I do shit like this at times. It's mostly revolving around, like, my truck and my Fox body, but I do shit like this every once in a blue moon. Hey, let's go! I gained a subscriber from this live! Woo! Take care. And hey, you got foods? Let's go. Ugh. So, yeah, like... And, like, again, both of the vans that I've owned, because this is technically a truck, but it's a van, but it's a truck, I don't actually know how this would be classified as. Because it has a truck bed, but a van body and a van VIN. You know? Like, and what this actually was a 1981 Ford Triple E Camelot conversion. These things brand new were over $40,000. They were pretty neat. And like I said, I wish I would have kept it. Cause yeah, I could still own it technically. Like if I didn't get rid of it back then. And I would have put that on the road. I would have just needed to find a 460, which somebody was actually offering me a free 460 for it. I just didn't want to do the work. Now I'm a little more gung-ho for that short shit. Back then I wasn't. I was very timid when it came to, like, working on cars, you know? But, it only took 44 minutes for some retard to say that in my chat. Fun. Tell me, Turpy, is that what you have to tell yourself every time you look in the mirror because you can't figure out if you were born a male or a female? Kind of seems like it. Fuck. Gotta love it. actually. Because all I'm doing is giving you the same energy back that you're sending my way. Like, again, if you want to be, like, a douchebag, I can totally match your energy, bro. It's not hard for me to do. So, but I don't understand of, like, why people, like, will come into somebody's life and be like, yeah, hey, you know, this way. It's like, why? Why? Big question. Like, are you so insecure in your life that you want to put other people down? And that's to overcompensate for the fact that you have no friends, that nobody loves you, you have a tiny pecker, and you're overcompensating for that? Just saying? Just waiting for his response on that. Because he's probably not going to respond to me just absolutely flaming him that way. But if he does, cool. If not, I don't really give a shit. I love when people say that. It's like, you know, if I was a Transformer, fuck me, I'd be making so much more money. Like, gosh, being in, like, you know, the Hasbro universe and shit like that, the royalties and shit. Oh my god, yes, please, give me that. Like, fuck. Just sad, very sad. But now, of course, I have these two in my chat. But like I said, that dude hasn't replied yet, so which is fine. Just reading a comment on my page from a buddy. My truck that I have, she has like cracks in the exhaust manifold, and when you let off the gas, it'll actually like burble and pop, and that's due to the fact of it having like that's unburned fuel that's actually igniting after it hits one of those cracks and getting the oxygen from the outside. And that's what you're hearing, is that popping of the, you know, gas igniting. And he said, like, well, you know, you could, like, as you're driving down the road, shut the truck off and then pump it like 5 times and then turn it back on and make a loud bang, like a 12 gauge going off. I'm like, yeah, that's also an easy way to blow out your exhaust. Like, not worth it. Not worth it. Hey, gotta love the fog this time of year. It's great, isn't it? Is actually because it's a V10 AMG? No, it's not. It's a 300 inline 6 in a 76 F250. It's not a fucking V10. But I'm also trying to think of, like, what AMG has used a V10? Like, V12, sure. But V10? I'm not aware of that. Off the top of my head. Yeah, totally. Also, if anybody knows me, I don't really screw with modern engines typically. Like, I don't. That'd be a fucking nightmare, honestly. Be kind of a neat swap, but nightmare. And expensive too. Oh my god. If I had that kind of money, shit, my cars would look nicer. Just saying. And I'd probably like own this, and it'd have like a diesel or something like that in it. Yeah. Because that was kind of one of my thoughts with this thing too. Is like, you know, could just put like a 12 valve in it, or like a 24 valve or something like that. That would have been all right, and it would have been worthy, you know, of being a dually and shit like that with a diesel in it. I thought about it, but it didn't. Obviously, it didn't end up happening. And like I said, it's one of those regrets. One of those regrets of not keeping that van truck thing. I call it the Vuck, so. And wait, an asterisk? Wait. Is that what you named your WRX? Is asterisk? Because if so, that's actually kind of funny. Ugh. Frick. I'm finally getting tired. Finally. As it's approaching 4 a.m. And I started this live at, 3 a.m. Ha! So I think I'm actually going to just end the live stream. It was a good live overall. We had fun. Y'all, I'll talk to all of y'all later. And have a good night. Take care. And I'll catch ya later. Peace out. And wait. What? Hang on a minute. Sorry, you said your aunt has a half van, half truck in her backyard. Is it a Dodge? No. So hang on a minute. Where is this thing? Mine was a Ford. So, but your aunt has a. Where is this? Because I would potentially like to play with that. Maybe. Hers is a Dodge? Okay. So, like, does she do anything with it? Or is it just sitting around? Like, I only ask because, like I said, that'd be something that I could be interested in. Ah, boo! It's in a different country. Boo! I'm Canadian, so. Oh, well. Anyways, alright. I'm gonna sign off because, like I said, when I heard that, I'm like, ooh, that seems like fun. To talk about that for a minute. And maybe if it was, like, somewhat local, that I could go see it and, do stuff with it. But unfortunately, it's in California, which sucks. So, probably not rusty, though. It's like that. But anyways, yeah, like I said, I'm going to try and go to bed. It's almost 4 a.m. Take care of yourselves. Have a good rest of your night. And have a good sleep. I'll tell you later.